All right. All right, Packer fans, how you doing? This is Ahman Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher. This is Believe in Packers. So, Packer fans, we got any big this weekend gets doesn't get any bigger than this week than what it is. But we got NFL Wild Card weekend, Saturday night on Prime Video, Soldier Field, Bears and Packers, Packers and Bears. So we already know what's going down. So these two teams split the season series so far. And if you've watched the tape, you know exactly why this matchup is going to be fascinating, fun to watch. It's going to be watching like a good action flick or a good movie, right? It's going to have all the emotions going on. So styles clash, strengths collide right here. So, and in January football, the smallest details decide who advances. Right? Basically, you win, you go home. So tonight we'll break down. I'll say today, excuse me. Today is still sun, still up. So today we'll break down how each team wins and what the numbers tell us, and where the smart edges are out, and where the smart edges are out here in this game. So first segment here, the context and what's at stake. So we got NFC North rivals meeting for the third time this season. I've done this before in my career where it was Minnesota, it wasn't Chicago, where we played them and we split the season series, and then they came back. They had to come to Lambeau and they beat us at Lambeau. So let's I say let's hope and let's play for a better outcome than what we had back in I believe that was 2004. Maybe we were a little beat up then. So both teams now they know each other's tendencies. They know where they want to go with the ball. They know how they want to run, pass, defend, everything. So prize will be limited on some plays out there. So Chicago's host with confidence. It's going to be in cold weather, and it's going to be a ball control identity for them. So Green Bay arrives battle tested, beat up. That means beat up, comfortable playing on the road, which you have to be in an NFC North, and built to win tight games. So they have won some tight games, they have lost some tight games, but they understand what needs to get done, playing clean football, making big plays offensively and defensively, and trying to show up. That means when the time is set, if it's 4th and 1, and if it's on offense, you're trying to get the first down, go get it. And if it's 4th and 1 or 4th and long, and the defense is on the field, stopping that Bears offense. So key reality here. So familiarity compresses the variance. So when you know each other very well, then everything you see, you're going to know what's coming at you. When you see the formation, you see the personnel, things of that nature, that makes it different. And you recognize it real fast between being the Packers or being a Bear player as well. So execution matters more than anything, and then matters more than the scheme right now. All right, let's push on into the next segment here. So when the Packers have the ball, this is what you may see. So plan of attack, they're going to be methodical. I'm sorry, methodical. God, I can't even say the word. They will be smooth, calm, and collective. I'll say that. And lean on the run, punish the right coverages, because that's where the Bears might sit back in zone. So what the tape says so far? So against zone, take the underneath throws, keep the chains moving, and avoid avoid big negative plays. That's zone. So against man defense, take your shots. In week 14, Jordan Love completed 9 for 13 for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns versus man coverage. So that's to say a whole lot right there. All right. And then one thing Green Bay can cash in on. So Christian Watson versus a man coverage defense, out routes, quicks are early. Let's make sure you hit those routes, and then deep overs and post. Once defenders start to squat on that, right? Or start squatting, making them do that. So Watson has over 80 plus yards, 3 of his last 5, including 89 yards for 4 catches versus Chicago Bears in week 14. So there you go. So right there, the best angle for Watson, and I'll give you a nice little, average there is Watson. I think he gets a 54.5 receiving yards, and that's the over. Where you're talking about when we're talking about FanDuel here on Believe in Packers. So we got FanDuel as our sponsor. So there you go. Little antidote there. And that gets you could get 113 on that, negative 113 on that. So protection matters for Jordan Love. So his sack rate is low. If the tackles hold up, that means offensive line, guards and tackles, not just the tackles, but offensive line total. The offense stays on schedule. That means Jordan Love gets in rhythm. That means the pass game is running and also the run game is working as well. So Packers offense versus the Bears coverage looks like this. When Love identifies the man coverage, then they can be successful in that standpoint. All right. So those are the big things right there to know going into this game, and keep an eye on this watching the game. All right. So in the next segment here, when the Bears have the ball, right? So Chicago's identity so far: run first, body punches late. That means beat them up and bruise them up and make them not want to tackle the ball at all. Then strike off of play action plays right there. And that's something they've done very well. That's how they ended the game against our Packers a few months, about a month ago in Soldier Field. So why does this work? Right? The run game sets up multiple tight end play action plays right here. So since Michael Parsons' injury, Green Bay's pass rush has not been the same. Chicago wants to exploit that. That's going to be something on top of Ben Johnson's mind. So Caleb Williams, he's going to have to look like this. He's going to have to be comfortable in the pocket, extending plays. Right now, is averaging 34.5 yards per attempt over his last 10 games. So very good. So let's defense is going to have to. So against Green Bay's defense earlier this season, those games demanded 30, 35, and 34 attempts to come in, try to compete and win. All right. So, but context matters. That means more definition matters. So two schools of thought here when you're watching this game. All right. Two schools of thought here. Pace controls the wins. So if Chicago keeps it close and runs efficiently, Williams won't need to throw 35 plus plays, right? Because they're going to be able to give it to DeAndre Swift and Cal Monangai, who has been fantastic running the ball as well. All right. So on that standpoint, Williams, I say on the under 31.5 attempts for the year or for this game, and that'll be good because then we know that, well, not we, but the Bears will be trying to, run a efficient offense there. So he does like the scramble. So the scrambling lanes, we got to take those away. So without Parson, those lanes open up. So Green Bay has allowed 32 quarterback rushing yards per game since week 15. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. So I say if you're betting on this over 21.5 rushing yards for Caleb Williams on that standpoint. So, but the underneath weapon is Colston Loveland, the young tight end out of Michigan. Has emerged as a priority target. He has been catching the ball. He has had 6+ catches in back-to-back games. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. The guy that you don't see on the field a whole lot, you might forget about that. So you don't want to do that if you're the Packers defense. So it's also zone-heavy looks, means seams and checkdowns are the ones to go to there. All right, so Loveland on the over of catches, 4.5 receptions. That'll be a good stretch for you over at the FanDuel website. So the edge here for the Bears is offense dictating the tempo and exploiting the play action. And that's how Ben Johnson and an offense, along with Caleb Williams and the rest of the crew, have been effective throughout this whole year. All right. And there's some big parts in this next segment that we're going to talk about here that's going to be important for both teams. One, turnovers, pace, and the fourth quarter, right? So this game swings on two things. Number one, turnovers. So Chicago forces them at a high rate right now for this year. They're in the league. They are plus 20 differential in turnover ratio, which is fantastic for a team defense. All right. And then also late execution. Bears have closed games. So right now, Packers must finish their drive. That means get the ball in the end zone and make the PAT. So that's what needs to happen. So what does that mean? So Green Bay can move the ball, but red zone efficiency is non-negotiable. You got to get the ball in the end zone right now. This is playoff football. You got to finish hard. Getting all 6 points plus the PAT in the end zone is priority number one. So Chicago's fourth quarter edge is real. They've been strong about it offensively and defensively. So Green Bay must avoid the sudden change because that's what Chicago's been great about on defense, is getting the interceptions late in the game. And then that sudden change of getting the ball back to their offense and back on the field. That's a problem. So right now, a side lean in this Chicago, if they control pace and force one extra takeaway, they have an opportunity there. So Packers path, though, here win the first down, avoid 3rd and long, and finish with touchdowns. And we do that as a Packer offense. And then defense creates some problems, get some sacks, keep the run game in check, then we'll have a good chance to go out here and get a victory in Soldier Field to get the payback from a couple weeks ago. All right. But in the trenches, let's go there. Here in the trenches, we'll start with the Packers offensive line, or the Bears offensive line versus the Packers D line right here. So without Parsons, Chicago should get more time for Caleb to throw the ball and for maybe, Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift to get some open holes running the ball. So Green Bay must manufacture pressure with games between the end and the interior defense alignment, D tackles, and be disciplined about those games and team. And when you say discipline, when I say discipline, I mean from the linebackers to the 3 technique and to the wide 9 guys that most likely is Rashard Gary and Lucas Van Ness. If he's healthy to play, then those guys can make a difference. And speaking of Rashard Gary, we need to watch him. He needs to be the disruptor now, right? Michael Parsons was that guy that helped him get more sacks, that helped him and the other teammates to get in the backfield for penetration and to put heat on quarterback. So now he needs to be that guy disrupting that. But he knows what he's doing. He's been there. He's been a Pro Bowl guy. So he understands how he needs to disrupt. So let's make sure that you focus on how he plays it. He can't mimic and be Michael Parsons. Well, now I'm not saying that. What he needs to be is be himself, but do the same things that got him to be that Pro Bowl rush in for the Green Bay Packers. And that is where he'll become effective and efficient for the Packers defense. So the pass rush props for this game, we got on the Bears side, we got Montez Sweat. He has an under a 0.25 sacks, which is at -140. So there you go. And why is that? So low pass rate win rate, and a low sack rate. So if Zach Tom plays, the under strength is up because we know Zach Tom been having back injuries, back spasm, and he has either an ankle or knee or something like that later in the game. So, or later in the season. So he is still trying to get better out there. All right. And for any other props that you want to see coming into this game, you want to go after, you got Jordan Love with over a 222.5 yards passing. That's a -111 for you. If Packers hit man coverage looks, then he's going to be successful. Caleb Love has an over 1.25 passing touchdowns for this game. And that's at a +108 if it's play action pops. If the play action pops for that Bears offense along with the run game. And then some rushing props here for FanDuel. You can check it out. Josh Jacobs over 75.5 yards at a -109. And the volume and January football might happen because with that football, running the ball, grading out the clock, then keeping that defense on the field, that's where we could see Josh Jacobs and that Packer offense take over and win. All right. And then you got Williams. Obviously, you got DeAndre Swift on the other side of the ball, over 60.5, and that's a -115 there. And if Chicago can control the tempo. All right. So Williams also with an over 21.5. I mentioned that earlier in rushing yards, and that's 112, a -112 for them. And for receivers for both sides of the ball here, we got Watson with an over 54.5 yards and a -113 for that. And for Loveland for the Bears, the tight end, 45.5 yards there and a -114. So complementarity. There it is. I'll just stop it right there. Try to get it right. Complementary shots of Dobbs and Reed can throw in there if a man coverage might spike up high where the defense is running more man coverage to try to be physical with the Packer receiver. So we got to wait and see on that part. But there you go. All right, coming up to the end of this and about to wrap this up. So some of my keys to the game here. One is identify the coverage early in the matchups. And when we get to the line of scrimmage, and this is something that all great quarterbacks do, and Jordan Love is one of them, Caleb as well, identify the coverage early. Punish if you see man coverage. Stay patient with the zone because obviously guys can cheat it and try to get a pick or try to get a tip ball. So be conscious of that. Win on the first down. All right. So keep the play action alive for both teams because when play action is working, that means the run game is working. That means all the defense is being honest and they're getting sucked up into the line of scrimmage. And then guys open up in the run game. Luke Musgrave has been the tight end of choice right now because of the injury to Tucker Kraft. So be hearing him and then Loveland on the other side of the ball those guys can have a good day if the play action game gets open. Protect the ball is the next one. Number 3. One turnover likely decides this game because for the 2 matchups that we've seen earlier this season, tight games all the way through. And both wins the 1 win for the Packers and the 1 win for the Bears, where Caleb threw up the pass to DJ Moore, as we saw, to catch the game winner in overtime. So there you go. And then number 4, finish drive. This is where Packers have struggled with getting the ball in the end zone. So hopefully they can continue to better that ratio. Getting field goals got to be off of it. Field goals won't be enough unless they get a big score or they get ahead early in this game. Then field goals can hold their water and weight a little bit. So we got to wait and see. And then the last one, number 5 here, 4th quarter composure. All right. No panic and no hero ball, regardless of what the score says on the scoreboard, unless it's a blowout on either side. But if it's a tight game for either team, 7 to 3 point difference, then be smart. Don't panic. Take it slow. Read your coverages. Stick to your fundamentals of football. And then offensively, defensively, player, Pro Bowler wise, it doesn't matter. Then you'll be in the right position to make the right play. All right. So my prediction, this is a coin flip of a game here right now with playoff weight and big circumstances involved. So if Chicago dictates pace and forces a turnover, they advance. All right. It's simple as that. If Green Bay hits 2 explosive plays versus man and finishes in the red zone, they steal it on the road. That's where I'm going to put it. I can't really give a straight up answer. Sorry, but this is one of those tight games because we know how both teams go. And this is where I explained the whole rivalry scenario. When you have a rivalry, all the talent and all the records go out the window. That means the talent is equal and the records don't matter anymore. All right. So right now we got to go on players making plays because they supposed to be those big time players. They are supposed to be Pro Bowlers. They are supposed to be future Hall of Famers. Now we got to go out there. We got to watch ourselves and the players go out there and prove it. All right. So right now I'll say, man, I don't know where I want to go with this. Oh man, it's such a tight series, but I'm gonna say Bears by a field goal in a grinder. But the Packers win if Watson hits early and hits one late, and then that offense controls the run game and the clock. So that's where I think I said I'm sorry, this is probably the worst answer I could give because I'm on both sides of the ball here. But I can see if either team winning on late field goal, it's a 1.5. I believe in the books for who going to win this game. And I think it's 1.5 to the Packers, and that's a coin toss. I would say that's the flip of a coin, like I started this segment with. All right. So on that note, I'm gonna close it out, and I'm apologize again because I think I've done this a couple weeks ago when the Bears ended. I didn't give a straight answer, but that's the best thing I could do because I know this is gonna be a tight game. But either way, for whatever team that wins, they're gonna win close. It's gonna be a 1 or 3 point win. If it's a blowout, I will be shocked on either side, and it's gonna be one hell of a game. I can't wait to watch it on the TV. So Saturday night, Soldier Field, no secrets left, y'all. It's about execution. It's about toughness and trust when the lights are the brightest because everybody's going to be watching because it's going to be the only thing on TV. So it's wild card football, y'all. It's awesome. So I'm Ahman Green, Green Bay Packers, all-time leading rusher for the Green Bay Packers. So this has been Believe in Packers. So enjoy the game. Enjoy the game tomorrow night and go Pack, go.